Is becoming a DevOps engineer actually worth it? This could offend some people, but instead of just saying yes like everyone else, we're gonna take a closer look in this video and see if this job really is so great or if it's overrated and something that you should avoid. We're gonna start with a breakdown of the job responsibilities, and then we'll talk about salaries, future growth, and will there actually be jobs in the future, and how does the reality look like? We'll cover job satisfaction and how real DevOps engineers feel about their jobs. And finally, we're going to talk about the pros and cons, and I'm not going to hold back in this video at all. So drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this, and let's get started. Now, just really quick before we get into all this stuff, what does a DevOps engineer actually do? There are a couple of core key tasks. The first one is automation, and they help streamline and automate the development and operations processes. They may also configure and manage different development and deployment tools, and of course, this includes troubleshooting and monitoring the performance of the different systems. And to do this, there's quite a bit of collaboration with different teams. Now, in simple terms, DevOps is the bridge between the software development and the operations team. Moving on, we're going to talk about the job outlook for DevOps engineers, and this is going to be focused on the United States, but you should still be able to get an indication of how the job market looks like regardless of where you live. So I gotta be honest, finding some good data about this has been harder than I expected, but I was eventually able to find a really good insight which clearly demonstrates the path DevOps is taking in the future, at least when it comes to job growth. We're going to take a look at the DevOps market size and how it is expected to grow in the future. According to Mordor Intelligence, we can expect roughly 22% compound annual growth rate until 2029. And in simple terms, this means that if you add up the anticipated growth during the upcoming years, it is expected to be around 22% growth per year for the DevOps market. It means that the DevOps market is growing significantly faster than average, and that is a very good sign if you're looking for jobs in the field. More growth means more investment in DevOps from different companies, and therefore more jobs available to us. That brings us on to the next point, which is going to be the salary of a DevOps engineer. The average is very high at around $130,000 per year, and the data is based on 10,000 DevOps engineer salaries in the US. Now, on the low end, we can see around $110,000 per year, and around $165,000 per year on the high end. So the range of these averages is very, very wide, and how much you actually make is going to depend on a couple of different factors, including your location, your experience, but also, of course, the company itself that you work for. On this map, we can also see where the highest salaries are concentrated in the US. And as you can see, Washington, New York, and California are kind of taking the lead here when it comes to salaries and jobs. But perhaps most importantly, how are people actually feeling about their jobs? Are they happy? And if they could start over again and do everything from scratch, would they still become a DevOps engineer, or would they spend their time on something else? Let's talk about job satisfaction and include more than just the salary and the job outlook, because in the end, there are many, many more factors to consider when you choose a career, and you might be looking for a good work-life balance, you might be looking for, work from home options or something like that. So that's what we're going to talk about now. And while it's definitely impossible to say how satisfied everybody is, as it largely depends on the company and the person themselves, we do have some general data that we can use to see how satisfied people are in comparison to other jobs. And on Glassdoor, we have over 20,000 DevOps engineers from 9,000 different companies, and they've rated their experience with the DevOps job. According to this data, work-life balance got a 4 out of 5, which is pretty good, I would say. The compensation and the benefits of the job received a 3.8, and career opportunities received a 4 out of 5 as well. Now, even though these numbers are not a 5 out of 5 by any means, if we compare these numbers to other jobs, they're actually looking very good. But again, numbers don't really tell us everything, and that is why we're now going to move into the pros and cons. Here, I want to talk more about the specific things that people like and the things that people dislike about the job that can't really be seen through numbers. Now, as a disclaimer, these are not my experiences. I've read reviews, I've gone through discussion forums, different topics, and just gathered things that people find to be pros and cons of this job. And these are really, really important things that you should know before you get started. And if you don't know them, then, well, you might end up in a lot of trouble. You might go down the wrong path, and you might do something that's a terrible option for you. So let's clear everything up right now. So it is very hard to summarize everything because experiences can vary a lot from person to person, And what I say as a pro might be a very bad thing for you, or the opposite, and it just depends on who you are. But these are often considered some of the main pros and cons. There are a lot of good opportunities in DevOps with high paying salaries. There are plenty of jobs available for those with the right skills, and the growth, as we saw before, is also looking very good. And if we talk a little bit more about the actual things you'll do, it can be very exciting because of the versatility and the growing field. You will also communicate and get to know people across different teams, and what you're doing is basically having a real impact on the business outcome, and it's very important to make everything works. But of course, as with all jobs, there are some downsides as well that you may want to consider. And the first one is that all companies may not understand the DevOps and how to actually implement it properly. And there may be some frustrations where in theory it would be really simple and you would just do one thing, but in reality that's not how it's being implemented in your company, and people are not really implementing things properly. That can be frustrating, and there's of course also the aspect of learning, and learning new technologies can be really fun, but it does require a specific mindset that appreciates learning, and if you're watching this video, then that's probably you, but for the average person, it might not be the most fun thing, having to continuously learn new technologies and new things. And if you just want to learn a skill once and then be set for life, then DevOps is probably not going to be the best choice, but you can still enjoy it. There may also be some confusion regarding what your exact job responsibilities are going to be, and this is a complaint that I noticed many times when I was searching for cons. These are just some experiences, and that it can also work really good for others. I think DevOps is a fantastic field, of course assuming that you're the right fit and that DevOps is something for you. I'm going to leave some resources in the description to help you get started, and if you do want to continue watching a video that I highly recommend, then check out this video on the screen right now. I think you'll like it, and thanks for watching this video.